Hey sports fans, what's up? It's Coach Nick here, and thank you for coming to the live show. It's been way too long. Let me know if you can hear me okay. The levels look maybe a little low. I could probably fix that, but let me know in the comments. I'm going to get that up there real quick and pop this out and so I can see the comments nice and easy. But what is happening, guys? This is, an incredible playoff series we've had across the board here, and I can't believe that the Nuggets did it again. 2-3-1, 1-3 deficits in a row. It never happened before. The way they do it, too. So to me, it's almost like they just don't quite believe, and then they kind of finally get, warmed up, get a lather going, and then they start to believe, and they start making some great plays. And then even in Game 7, it was a microcosm of like Games 5 and 6 as well, where they looked a little bit nervous, a little bit off, but then they kind of, turned it on, and the Clippers just kind of folded. It really was a problem. Let's see here. Let's just go through some of the comments real quick. I got a bunch of notes to go through and talk, but I want to hear your thoughts as well. Let me just scroll down here and make sure all's perfect, everything sounds good. Okay, good, because I can always talk a little bit closer, but let's see here. We got to talk about Doc too and what his situation is, but let's see here. And by the way, it's fast and furious right now, guys. In fact, I should probably, hey, everybody, if you're on Twitter, just like share the link and tell everybody we're out here. Let's get this party started in a good way here. If I hit this and I hit this and I hit something here, I'm going to hit tweet and let's see what happens if we get even more people. Okay. So, here are some thoughts. So let's grab some thoughts from the comments first. Let's see here. Brad Cooper Weddings. Raps came so close to making it further than the Clippers. That is interesting. Yes. It's been too long. Miss your post-game shows. Thank you, Matthew. I missed them too. Not even sure why, but hey, check out my new digs. And I have a whole bunch of new things to hang on the wall. Like check this out. This is actually a new sponsor we have. And, it's called, Displates. Let me make sure you guys can see this. Let me go here. Can you see what that is? Yes. That's Martin Luther King doing a sham god. So they're metal and they hang, and you should check them out. I think my code is still somewhere. But I'll get the link at some point. But nonetheless, I'm gonna have them back on that white wall and on the wall here. So here's my new digs, and I'm really excited about it. And so we're gonna do live shows probably after every conference finals game now going forward. So plan on that for most of them at least, if as long as the family can hang out and do that. Let's see here. Pat Bev got what he deserved. Clown. Listen, what coach wouldn't like Patrick Beverley, right? He plays as hard as he possibly can. Marcus Smart is the kind of guy who's in the same kind of category as Patrick Beverley, but I don't like him. I feel like he just about won the game for them on the most egregious flop. And I even tweeted it out if you didn't see, where I was like, here's a play that's going to win it's going to win the game for the Celtics on a flop. Then he'll get fined the next day by the NBA. Like the first time ever happens. So, but I like Patrick Beverley, and he can, he shoots some threes. He was definitely a key for them. And when he wasn't having an impact on the game, the Clippers were really suffering. For a lot of reasons. Athan Caruncho, fan from Philippines. Hello, Puso. Salamat. Let's see here. That's all I know in Filipino. Let's see here. I can't wait to hear from Max K and how he shuts up about Kawhi being the best. Listen, let's talk about Kawhi for a second. I think this tendinopathy thing is an issue for him, and it's been that way since he left San Antonio. And it's a testament to how good he is that he can actually function on, when one of his legs is probably 80% tops. So I'm watching him run, and it looks kind of like what it always looks like, but it just looks like he's probably in pain a lot. And I don't know if anything happened to make it worse now, because the last couple games, I pointed it out in my Game 6 video, which I hope you guys all saw. He missed 2 shots point blank that he just never misses. And he did the same thing in this game too, missing some really strange shots. On the other end, he was getting beat on rotations that just completely also, I know he's not the same defender he used to be way back, but he doesn't get beat like that on certain rotations. It was weird. To the point where they actually said, well, Paul George, you take Jokic instead of Kawhi. And that was a disaster as well. In fact, there's one terrible play. We had the sideline cam in the live footage where, and they're going out to commercial, where Paul George is guarding Jokic, and then he's posting up down low, and he just leaves to go double the wing. And I think it's Murray just goes boop right to the down low, and Jokic just turns around and shoots a little floater, and then forces the Clippers to call timeout. So it was a real strange problem for everything. I would think the defense is really the biggest issue that the Clippers had. Their rotations were just off. So many times on the pick and roll, you'd see the wrong guy on. Okay, so if you can picture this, you don't have the clips with me, but picture having a pick and roll and you got two guys in the corner. Well, the weak side defender of the corner should be guy coming over, but we were seeing the strong side come over either only or both. And now you're like double teaming a guy that's rolling, and that's when Denver was opening up all the open shots and the cutters. You can't do that, and it was never on point. It's the thing they just never really practiced enough. So that's on Doc, I guess, and who knows what kind of practice schedule they could get with all this stuff. But you think in the bubble, no one's traveling. They have plenty of time to really go through this, and they didn't. And that really reflects poorly. So do we want to talk about Doc right now? I'm a little bit behind on the little chat here, but let's see what we got. We can talk about Doc. People were asking on Twitter whether or not he's, his job is safe. And I would imagine it is. And I think what's going to happen, though, is they'll probably just go to Kawhi and they'll go to Paul George and say, what do you want to do? Should we keep Doc? And whatever they say will happen. And so I think we'll find out. Now, I don't want to throw those guys under the bus and say, like, they have the final say. But I have a feeling that if they were to say, we want Doc to stay, we love him, that he's not going to get fired. And if they don't say that, then we'll find out. Doc could still stay, but we'll find out. So welcome, everybody. Lots of people here. So excited to have you. If you're a new subscriber or an old subscriber just wandering around on YouTube and found me, welcome to what used to be a lot more common of these live post-game shows and will be going forward. Let's get to some more comments here because I'm curious. Dennis wants to say LeBron in 4. No way. They're not going to sweep this Nuggets team. Let's see here. Doc Rivers is booty. I don't know. Listen, I had the most to lose to some degree as far as the media goes because I had predicted the Clippers were going to get all the way to the finals, but I'm really kind of encouraged. It's exciting to see the Nuggets do this because it's just they're the underdog and they've come back twice like this, but they play like a team, and how could you not, just admire the way Jokic plays? Now, here's another thing that kind of was a hot take on Twitter. You're looking at what Jamal Murray has done. Now, in this series, he's been, a bit harder for him because, he's going up against, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and then Patrick Beverley. He never got a break. But I don't know. When I see a 22-year-old kid in his 4th year just destroying this team in Game 7, his ceiling is the best point guard in the league, right? We don't know what Steph's going to be like when he comes back. Dame is Dame for a while. Trae Young is coming around. Luka is coming around. But I'm not sure we can call. I don't know if Luka is in the same position, but maybe he is. But I got to tell you, in this whole body of work that he's given us against the Jazz and the Clippers, there isn't many people better than him. His skill level is just off the charts. And we've been waiting for this for several years now, right? I had been sort of hinging the Nuggets' success on his development over the last 3 years. And he's given us little glimpses into what he can do. And, it's still a little bit, but not bad. He's still pretty good. I kind of want to call up his game logs for for the 7 games. I bet you that overall, it wouldn't be hard to do to see what he did against the Nuggets. Actually, I think I already called this up, believe it or not. In the playoffs, let's do this real quick. Let's go to in the conference semifinals. Run it. Jamal Murray, are you ready? His stats are, 20 points a game in 40 minutes. He shot 41.5% from the field, 42.9% from 3 on almost 6 a game. And he averaged, almost 7 assists a game. That's great. And only 2.2 turnovers. So he had a decent, series against the Clippers. But in this game, let's just grab those stats. So let's go through those for a second. The stats are, out of crazy here. He, let's see here. Because, by the way, Jokic sort of was the fulcrum and set everybody up to 13 assists and 22 rebounds, but only 16 points. Jamal Murray, though, 40 points on 15 of 26 shooting, 6 of 13 from 3, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 5 turnovers. He was really the key here, right? He was the guy who kept them afloat when they weren't doing well in the first half. He was the only guy that was going to come into play. So, what more can he be? He could get to if not number 1, number 2, number 3 point guard in the league for a long time. And we're about to go into a run here in the NBA of listen, point guard has been the premier position. We've had that for a while, but I don't think we've ever had. This is going to be all timer. We're going to have a dozen guys who could all rotate within the top 4. It's going to be crazy. Let's see here. Let me keep scrolling down and grab some other comments, other questions. Do you think the Lakers are a better matchup? Taylor Bowens asks. Are they a better matchup for, I guess, the Nuggets versus the Clippers? Well, what's interesting is the Lakers at least have like big men that can guard Jokic. Although Zubac, I thought, did fine, but the Lakers have more because they can do JaVale, and I think JaVale's going to get eaten up by him, though. He's going to get shot faked up in the air and get fouled out and foul trouble. But, remember, JaVale doesn't play more than like 10 minutes a game anyway. But, they can run Dwight and give him a shot. They can run Anthony Davis and give him a shot. They could even put LeBron on him and see what happens. I would love to see that, but I don't know if that's going to happen because LeBron plainly hates guarding people in the post. And it would be really great if the Nuggets can figure out a way to force a switch where he has to do that. I think they get a lot of run out of those situations if they can make that happen. So let's see here. If the Lakers win first and the Lakers in 4, okay, interesting. Otherwise, Lakers in 5. Hey, Panic Diver, I guess you're a Lakers fan, but there's no way. This series, Nuggets-Lakers, I can't believe it would go less than 6 games. I don't know why. It's just my feeling. This seems like it would go that way. Maybe because I'm selfish. I want more, more games. The biggest meltdown ever by a superstar, Leonard Game 7 versus Nuggets, 14 points, 42 minutes. Hey, that's not the biggest meltdown. I'm sure there's been worse. Hell, even Kobe Game 7 in the finals in 2010 or 2011, 2010. He didn't do well at all. Someone should look that up and let me know what it was because that could be worse. Let's see here. Hey, GS. Hello. It's real life. And there's your comment. And there's my response. What up, everyone? I'm a Lakers fan, but saying Nuggets has 0 chance? Dude, they outplayed Utah and Clips on a 3-1 deficit. You have no right to say Laker 4-0 run. What up, everyone? I agree with you. Very good take on that one. Jeremy Grant on LeBron. By the way, let's talk about Jeremy Grant. He's a guy that opened my eyes in this series because he was guarding Kawhi almost the entire time, and he did a very nice job. He was energetic. He was active. He was quick. He's a really good athlete as it is and really challenged and accepted that challenge to do that, play that role. And if he can do that, and have any kind of success against LeBron, then they're going to have a real problem here. The Lakers are going to have a problem on their hands. Let's see here. Do you think the Nuggets restrict? Oh boy, what happened here? Oh gosh. What's the song I use in my videos? Don't forget, it's always credited in the description. It's "Fighting for Freedom" by Anno Domini. Got to be big credit to them because whenever I switch the music, people freak in a bad way. Let's see here. I was just reading one line that just disappeared. Coach, looking good today. Well, thank you. I'm trying, but I don't know. I've looked better. We can't stop time. But what is time in the age of Corona? Let's see here. The Clippers are the most annoying team to have as an opponent. Well, I guess if you want to do that whole Patrick Beverly thing, and then they used to complain about every call, and I think they're better at that now because CP3 left and Blake Griffin left. But there's always that issue going up as well too. Who do I have, Lakers or Nuggets? I don't think I can choose against the Lakers. I think the Nuggets eventually are going to run out of bullets here. But listen, who's going to guard Jamal Murray? It was the same thing we had in the first round with them. Who's going to guard CJ and Dame? And they made it happen. Rondo is playing okay, but I don't think Rondo can do much against Murray. And I don't think that KCP will be that great against him. I mean, they may be okay. So I would expect Murray to play really well. And the real question then is can Jokic do his thing? I've been impressed with the way Vogel has gotten the Lakers defense organized and rotating properly. So I don't know if Jokic is going to be able to get as many dimes. I think the Clippers really suffered from understanding rotations where they should come from, and that's a problem. Obviously, that they couldn't overcome. But listen, the biggest part of this game was the Nuggets up by 10 going into the fourth quarter. Jokic having to sit with 4 fouls. And they increased the lead in 3 minutes to 15, which is like basically that it's a mental block there where all of a sudden it's almost a blowout without your best player or about your second best player, whatever you want to call Jokic. I think that was a devastating blow to the Clippers. Now, remember, I mentioned this on Twitter as well. The thing about shooting threes and using analytics and trying to discuss what you want, kind of shots you want, they never factor in the mental aspect of like being in a game 7. You remember when the Rockets missed, 24 in a row, whatever they did? There's something about going down by like 10 points, 9 minutes to go in the fourth or 15 in the fourth, and all of a sudden you're getting wide open threes, which they got, and you're not knocking them down. They're hitting the side of the backboard. That's a thing, and you're pressing, and your other teammates aren't scoring, and he missed a three, and I got to make this one. That's a big issue that you need to be able to train as far as the frame of mind to be in to successfully make threes, which I think often goes overlooked when you're training as a coach. You watch a guy like Steph who just seems to get into that Neo, mindset where he just sort of nothing bothers him and he's in the zone. You can train that, and we're learning more and more about the brain and how to do that, and we need more of that kind of training at this level. Let's see here. LeBron never blew a 3-1 lead. I guess that's true. He came back from a 1-3 lead. But let's see here. What's the best trade for Russell Westbrook? It's a good question, and I would think that one of the reasons why, D'Antoni not coming back is a really interesting thing, right? It looked like it was his decision, before they got rid of him, but it was his decision. And you have to wonder if he said to, the ownership, hey, are you going to do a move here? And maybe they say, well, no. Then he's like, okay, then I'm going. And the move obviously would probably be like, Russell Westbrook is not the best fit on this team. And that's really interesting, to conceive of. So I don't know what that's about. His contract is so difficult because it's such a huge contract that they always say, oh, you can never trade that. I'm not so sure you can. I mean, whenever they say that, of course, they traded the guy and whatever. But I don't know if you're going to be able to move that contract, honestly, unless you do something that's really damaging to the Rockets. And so that's probably either what happened. Either it was D'Antoni was like, wait, you're going to lose all those players to get rid of CP3 or to get rid of Westbrook, or you're not going to get rid of Westbrook. Either of those questions or the answers are like, okay, then I'm out of here. Donovan leaving is also really interesting as well. And that makes me think that he doesn't want to be part of a rebuild. And they probably said, we're going to move CP3. Gallinari is probably going to be gone. And he's like, you know what? I don't want it. Now, he also could have been like, you know what? I don't want it because the New Orleans shop is open. So keep your mind open for that. And I had already there's a connection there. Oh, I think it was David Griffin in New Orleans had already tried to woo him from Florida back in the day before he left. That might be enough of David Griffin saying, hey, remember what we talked about last time? Come coach us now. So be on the lookout for that. I'm a little bit surprised it hasn't happened yet, but maybe they're waiting for the playoffs to end or something. But that might happen. Who knows? Let's see here. What other questions are there? And let me just switch over here so I can monitor everything here. Okay. What's this button? This is all new. This is exciting. Oh, I see. Anyway, I'm not going to press any buttons on this. This is the whole new interface with the live show for YouTube. It's been that long since I've been here, but wow, I've never had this many people on a show before. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you're enjoying it so far. Let me know how you feel. Coach, answer please. Who will guard LeBron and AD? Great question. So obviously in the starters, okay, I would have to imagine it's Jeremy Grant and LeBron, and then they're going to have. Remember, they're going to have probably Jokic on JaVale. So who guards AD? Who's that left? Millsap. No, they might flip that. They might do Millsap on LeBron and then Jeremy Grant on AD, who's a little bit longer and a little bit quicker. That might work. I do remember, Millsap tried to guard LeBron when Atlanta was playing Cleveland in whatever year that was. And, and Millsap was getting into it a little bit, and trying. So that might be what they have to start with and see how that goes. But we know that JaVale goes out pretty quick, and then all the things kind of change. And then suddenly you can have Jokic on AD. You could probably do Jokic on LeBron, by the way. You could probably do that, and then he could give him enough space where he'd just dare him to shoot the threes. So keep your eye on that. They might try and figure out a way of making that happen too. And you know what? The Lakers might want that, but that might actually be okay for the Nuggets too. It's interesting. Oh, sorry, I hit the button now. Let's see. I keep scrolling. There's so many comments. So I want to try and get to as many as I can before it gets too late. Now, also, are there super chats going on in here? Because where are those? I want to be able to thank everybody. I see a little bit, but I don't see who. Oh boy, I got to figure this out. And if I don't, I'll make sure to send you a note somehow if I can directly, or shout you out in the next video. I guess because I think there's still super chats, but they don't appear here anymore like they used to. Where is that page? Anywho, I'm sorry if I can't somehow give you a what's this, merchandise? No, stream health, viewer activity. Ah, here it is. I found it. Okay, thank you. Brett Merriweather, thank you so much. What do the Clippers need to do to add to the team? Great question. Let's go through some Super Chat questions because you guys deserve it. And now that I found out where it is. Okay, what do the Clippers need to add to the team? That's a great question. I would think, I mean, listen, they probably just need to stay healthy and get, more reps together and get rhythm. They have enough of what it is. Do they need another big man who can shoot a little bit? Like probably, I would say some sort of a JaMychal Green, but maybe an upgrade to that would probably be something. I don't know if they can. I don't know who, but that might be what I'd be looking at there. Some sort of big man that can shoot a little bit or somehow play make. Thank you so much, Hanguk Pride. I appreciate it. I even get a little emoji with a cup of coffee or something. Thank you so much. Rye Bread. All right. Wow. Thank you for being so generous. Hey, Coach, I've been watching your videos for years. My favorite analyst by far on YouTube. Do you think the Nuggets will give us a better Western Conference Finals series? So thank you so much for being in the conversation for so long. And by the way, I've been doing this for 10 years. Can you believe that? It's pretty crazy. I guess more than 10 years now. Do you think the Nuggets will give us a better Western Conference Finals series? Yes, I think we're going to get a really good Western Conference Finals. I have no doubt it'll be dramatic, it'll be epic, it'll be back and forth, it'll be great. Maheen Iqbal, thank you so much for giving a little money here on the Super Chat. I really appreciate it. John Bang, go back. What's this question? How does Jokic's passing compare to Bron's? Oh, that's an interesting question. They're trying to anoint Jokic as the best big man passing center of all time. He's probably one or two. Bill Walton was definitely up there, but we've had some other really good ones too that I'm like sort of, forgetting. I mean, remember Wilt led the league in assists per game, 1 year too. But I would think that Jokic is a little bit better than LeBron. There's something a little bit more, and also it's the audacity. You saw that over the head one he threw, right? And he throws these in traffic and he throws it like soccer passes, sort of like on arc, little mini lobs that LeBron doesn't do. And he's quicker to give the ball up. I think he is a better passer than LeBron now that I've talked myself into it. Thank you, John. Mr. Penguins Canada. Oh, Canadian money. Thank you so much. Just got out of work and found out the Nuggets won. Yay, I guess, right? Exciting. I love the underdog story, if you can't tell. Trey No Songs. Is Jokic pushing in the top 5 territory? Are you trying to get me into trouble? I always get into trouble when I get into these top 5 questions, and but he is. He's got to be. You got to put him up there. But you know what? You got to get Jamal Murray up there as well, without question. Alex Raimundo Garcia, thank you so much. And wow, twice. Should Kawhi have stayed with Toronto? Interesting question. If he'd stayed with Toronto, he'd be in the next round. That would be one thing for sure. So I guess that's the answer. But let's give them one more year in LA to kind of see if they figure it out and get some more rhythm going. I think it's not quite. It's still too early to say that. But hey, let's get over 10,000 people in here. What do you say? I mean, we're almost there. I'm gonna retweet one of my tweets real quick so I can let everyone know on Twitter since there's a bunch of people there. Let's do that and then see if we can get that. Maybe anybody else out there, if you want to share this and let everyone know you're out there, that'd be awesome. And let's keep us up. Let's keep growing this live show. This is amazing. Brett Merriweather, thank you so much. What do you think the Clippers need to add? Okay, we kind of touched on that. Good job on growing the show. It must be all substance you provide us. Thank you so much, Brett. So, we talked about that. I think they need a big man who can shoot. Let's see here. Yeah, because I think Shaman will keep developing. Beverly is fine. I think they're there. They're ready to just gel. Hector Paez, thank you. I could hear you shaking your head all game. No, well, you can hear me shaking my head on a lot of the defense. And I'd go back and just watch, like, why are you doing that? Why are you stunting, like, to the inside when the ball is going that way the whole time and you're not getting out there to stop the threes? How Greco, I think that's how you say it. Thank you so much. Andrew Zhao, you know what? You told me, Andrew, how you say your name, I think, before. Zhu. I think it's Zhu. Why do Doc Rivers teams come up short? Well, I mean, do they? I suppose they lost a 1-3 lead or 3-1 lead against Houston way back in the day, the Josh Smith era. They did win that 7-game series against the Spurs. That was pretty epic. But you're right. There is something to that, and I don't know exactly what it is. Because you know why I don't know what it is? I don't think it's the same thing every time. It's not like you can sort of pinpoint it, but because I can say that it was the defense here, and I don't think it was necessarily the defense in the other times. I know CP3 melted down against the Grizzlies one of those years, just kind of like gave up in that clinching game. I don't know. good question. It might be worth looking into. I don't know if I can, give you an exact answer. Matthew Haslam, thank you so much. Wow, LeBron is the GOAT. Lakers beat Heat in 6 in the finals. Who would have thought the Heat would get to the finals, huh? That's insane. But you know what? They have a good shot at it. They really do. I'm really, listen, they took game 1. We got to talk about the Heat and the Celtics for a second, don't we? I got a whole bunch of notes there, but we'll get to that soon. Let's see here. What's next? What's the next question from the super chatters? William Chan, thank you, from Canada. Do you think Kawhi would have done better with the Raps? So yes, absolutely, they would have gotten to the conference finals because they got to Game 7 without him. They needed what he provides. So I have no doubt they would have beaten the Celtics and gotten to the next round. David Paul Krug, oh my goodness, thank you. Why does the media hate the Nuggets so much? Constantly calling it a choke job by the Clippers instead of an amazing performance by the Nuggets. Well, let's just say this. The Clippers were up 3-1. They have big leads every game, so it's natural to say they're blowing it. And there's something to that. It's like what are the Nuggets not doing? Why are they getting up to such bad starts? It's not the starting 5, by the way, because it's usually the starting 5 that gets them right back in the game in the third quarter. Because I was looking at a lot of lineups to figure that out, and it really isn't that necessarily. It just takes them a little bit longer for whatever reason to kind of get up and get sweaty and get going. This nerd. Thank you. Wow. Thoughts on Kawhi, his resting in the Clippers season as a whole at this point, especially juxtaposed to LeBron and the narratives that played. So my thoughts on Kawhi is that he's hurt and that he's going to be forever hurt with his tendinopathy. If that's what I think it's what it's called. That quad, it doesn't look like he's ever going to recover fully from that. And the only question now is will it get worse and will he sort of start to decline? I mean, he's not. Is he 30? Let's see here. Is Kawhi Leonard 30 yet? I don't. Kawhi Leonard is 28. So he's not even he's right in the middle of his prime. So it shouldn't be an issue, but it doesn't look like it's getting better in a way that's really concerning to me. So I don't know. I really don't know. They're gonna have to keep their eye on it and continue to load manage him, I suppose. Gen Z dummy mode. Thank you. Wow, what was so generous. What was the turning point play of this game? I think the turning point probably was. I want to say right at the beginning of the fourth quarter when they blew it open to 15 without Jokic on the floor, but it was probably sort of right in the third quarter a little bit more in terms of when they flipped the switch. Now they only outscored the Clippers by 10 points in the third quarter, so it wasn't. I think, isn't that right? Wait, now I'm losing my mind. Where's that tab? Hello, tab. Let me go to that tab. Let's just check that. I'm sure you guys already have the answer for me, but let's see. Yeah, the 28-18. So, that was the key there. And 28 points is not like, scorching the Nets in the third quarter, but the Clippers only got 18. So that was obviously the turning point, and I'll have to kind of rack my brains or go through my notes to figure out if I can get any more specific than that. But that's when I felt like it really that the game was over, was the first 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. Because without Jokic, they just extended the lead, and that was the worst thing that could have happened to them. Let's see here. Legendary Ostrich, thank you so much. Has Kawhi dropped out of the top 5 conversation? Not from one game. I thought he was pretty good for most of the series and certainly the first round. So I don't think so. I think he's still there. But you know what? It's like, what have you done for me lately? He's going to have to remind us next year if he can. As a Clippers fan, all I feel is pain. Super Meowskers. Oh, thank you for the super chat. And, don't feel pain. This is the first year. Remember, the Heatles didn't win the first year either. They needed a year to gel. And that could very well be what happens. And they go on and win 2 or 3 in a row. Weeping Balmer. Thank you for the, what is that symbol? Is that yen? A Japanese yen? I don't even know. I think it might be. On a scale from 1 to Herman Cain, how sick was that Bam block to Tatum? Oh my goodness gracious. It's too soon. It's too soon to evoke Herman Cain. If you don't know, he was the guy that died after contracting COVID from going to a Trump rally with no mask on in any of those things. So, but it was somewhere in between there. And by the way, it was an amazing block. Bam is the X factor. He tweeted it out before the fourth quarter started. He was the X factor. He gives them. Let's talk about Bam Adebayo for a second, because he is actually the quintessential modern NBA center, even though he doesn't need to shoot threes. Why? Because he can handle the ball like a guard. He can pass. He is just behind Jokic as a passer from the high post without question. And he can protect the rim as well. He's really active, and he has a nice 15-foot jump shot, so he can shoot and he can create with the dribble. So he's not like he's a non-liability. He's actually a really good plus on the offensive end and the other side too. So just amazing. And then Tatum needed to lay it up high off the glass and not try and dunk that. Jay Silva, thank you so much. Why don't the Clippers just change the coaching staff? I love Doc, but isn't his style of play coaching a little outdated? No, I mean, you could, for the most part, the Clippers run a lot of the Pistol 21 series. Everybody runs that. That's the new thing. Now, if you watch most of the game, the one thing they did rely on mostly, more than anything, was horns. Now, that's outdated, and they did get a little bit of action out of that, but I felt like that was also problematic. They were having a little trouble generating better shots from that with the double high post. So I don't think it's the offense as far as the style of play, what they're doing. But it could be the defense, and that could be an issue. And I'm trying to remember who's in charge of the defense for them now versus who they've had. I'm blanking. I mean, obviously at Thibodeau with the Celtics, and they recreated a lot of that. But it might be too long in the past since they've had him around that they need a refresher or something on their defensive stuff. Avendano NBA, thank you. My goodness, why did Doc choose to double Jokic? Jokic killed them and it led to so many open shots. It's a good question, especially because they mentioned in the broadcast how Popovich didn't want to do that with the Team USA. And that's actually a good point, because you can let him get all the points he wants, shut down everybody else, and really limit threes and cutters. That's probably what you're going to see happen against the Lakers. I think that they're really going to avoid that. So why did they do that? I think that what they were trying to get away with was Kawhi and Paul George on him, because they were so afraid of the pick and roll when Jokic set it for Murray, and if they can switch it and get one of those guys. Well, obviously the adjustment then is, okay, we're just going to post up a lot more with him when you put him on him. That's when you got to scram switch. Maybe Zubats is around, kind of run across and get him, and then get Kawhi off. You can do that now, and they never did that, and that was just another level that you don't see. Now Brad Stevens' teams can do that, and that was the issue. Was that it was their decision to want to try and get Kawhi and Paul George in the pick and roll defense for Jamal Murray, but it just didn't work. Let's see here. Benjamin Dover, thank you so much. What is your ideal acquisition for the Clips this offseason? So, I think we mentioned that. They need a big guy, a shooting big guy like off the bench. I like Zubats, by the way. I think he can continue to start and develop his game. He'll get better. This is a great experience for him. But they probably need another guy. I think they need an upgrade, from JaMychal Green. Let's see. Kellis Talks, thank you so much. What do you think the Clips do now? Will Doc get fired? I think I mentioned it a little earlier. The Clips will probably go to Kawhi, and they'll probably go to Paul George and say, what do you want to do about Doc? And based on their answer, he'll either stay or go. I would think he stays. I think that they probably like him, and I think they would probably vouch for him enough, for at least for one more year. But listen, the Donovan thing was shocking to me. D'Antoni was definitely very surprising. So, this could be one of those years, those off seasons, where it's a huge coaching change, and that sends ripples across everything. By the way, because college coaches get affected by that, and then people move up and down. It's crazy. Made in Brooklyn, 1975. I think the only reason LeBron may hold on to the ball longer than Jokic is due to the expectations for LeBron to be the hero on offense. LeBron's nature is that of a very willing passer. It's interesting. Yes, LeBron is a willing passer for sure. On his terms, right? He will hold the ball longer to try and sort of. People will argue he's trying to do it to get the assist, so he's not going to pass until he knows you're going to shoot it. I think that's pretty hard to do, in the speed of the game. But there is that notion of the hero versus being in the flow that Jokic plays with. They're two different, rationales. That's why Jokic will probably never really be the top five, because, I don't know if it's in his mindset. Now he's more you'll see a guy like Marc Gasol in his prime never wanted to attack the basket aggressively and score, right? I think he could have been a 25-point a game scorer. His brother Pau was more like that, and he just didn't have it. That was not his mindset. Jokic has more of the mindset to score, so I think that makes him better, because when the threat is there to score and the threat is there to pass, that's when you're most dangerous. And I feel like with Marc Gasol, they always sort of knew he was going to pass more than he was going to shoot. So that's why Jokic has surpassed him as it is. Thank you, David Sepulveda. Wow, what should the Raptors do this offseason? With all their expiring contracts and losing the second round, what can they do? I don't know. It's a great question because it's hard for them to lure, free agents. I haven't even looked at it that much, who it is, but they need to keep Van Vliet. They should probably keep Lowry. Siakam, I think, is still under contract. I don't know who the other people are, but so they could probably run it back and hope that Siakam just progresses more in this offseason. Yal Greco, happy to see another post-game show. Do you think the Nuggets being too tired can screw during this playoff run? Yeah. I mean, probably for the first game or so, because they got to turn around and play again for the second series in a row right away. But I think that there's no travel. They're not getting on planes. There's no time zone shifts. That's going to help them to recover. So I think that'll be less of an issue. Raul DM, thank you. With his size and strength, why doesn't LeBron post up more or set screens? Why he doesn't post up more, I have no idea. He doesn't like sweat. It's bizarre. He should. But then again, his post game has never really developed well enough for my tastes. He can pass the ball out of the post like anybody's business. He's really great at that. But he's never really developed the post moves that you think he would have at this point of his career. And then setting screens too. It's a physical thing. He seems like he likes to shy away from physical contact, even though he initiates it when he has the ball and going to the basket. It seems like every other time he doesn't really want to get involved. Blue Diamond Gem. Did Sam Presti finesse Rockets Clippers in trades? Well, let's see here. I mean, certainly, yeah, because the Clippers trade was getting Gallinari and getting Shai Gilgeous, which is a great move for them, right? Yeah. And then the Rockets getting CP3. So those were good deals for him without question. He's done very well, and he's smarter than most. JC Brass, thank you so much. You think Kawhi would have made the finals with the Raptors? Well, I think he certainly makes the conference finals without question. And then they probably make it to the finals again if he'd stayed. Vasudevan, is that right? Vasudevan K. Talk about Clippers chemistry. It's bad. Load management. I mean, it is bad. Maybe in the sense that there's not a lot of reps there. They get used to each other, but I think they all get along as far as that part of the chemistry. So the question, though, is how do you do load management and then still get them to be able to play together and get those reps? They might never be able to do it and just sort of hope it works out for the best. It's a real problem. Foxfire 1112, thank you. Been here since the start, 10 years. Yes, you have. Congrats on the success. Thank you so much. With respect to the Nuggets, can you think of a bigger playoff choke job? Then you mean with respects to the Clippers, or I think that's the bigger choke because they're the ones who choked. But there's got to be. I mean, listen, the Warriors did it, although they had lost a starter to injury, and then they lost Draymond for Game 5. So that's something. But without an injury being a factor, if you're talking about the Clippers choking, yeah, I mean, this is probably up there. I mean, let's see, that was the 3-1 the Warriors lost, and then certainly the Jazz too, although the Jazz were probably less, the Clippers were more favored in the series. So, yeah, maybe. Gen Z Dummy Mode, thanks again. Can you talk about Nuggets versus Lakers benches? Yikes. Who are the X factors on either side? Okay, well, the Lakers bench, I think, is pretty thin. So there's just not a lot of firepower coming off the bench for them. So, in fact, who is it these days? Let me call them up real quick. Let me get that up because I kind of want to see it myself. Because we got Kuzma and you know what? I haven't thought of the Lakers in a minute. That's how sad this is. So players, regular season. Let's just do the playoffs. All right, who's playing the most minutes here? So Rajon Rondo is going to give them that boost they're going to look for. Alex Caruso, although I think Caruso started. I guess he might be starting. So, which is probably okay for him. He probably will play his best alongside the starters versus anybody else. So that will work for them. But, I think it's overwhelming when you're going to compare benches. I think that you're talking about, Michael Porter Jr. You're talking about, let me switch now to the Denver. Hang on. You're talking about Michael Porter Jr., Torrey Craig, Monte Morris, even Plumlee can give them minutes. It's a short bench from both teams, right? They're only going to play the 8 or 9 guys tops. But I got to give it to the Nuggets. I feel like there's more firepower there. Let's see here. Wow. I mean, I can't get over how many of these super chats. Thank you guys so much. We're going to finish this up. Let's see. Luke Johnson, thank you. Oh, from England. Wow. I feel like AD is the perfect matchup for Joker. for Jokic. Ugh. Maybe. I'm not sold on AD's defense. I said it. I don't know if he deserves to be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. So I'm not willing to go there yet. I don't know if AD is going to be able to do it because Jokic is rough and physical. We'll have to find out if AD is going to be up for it or not. I don't know if he will. I think it's 50-50. Ozzy Tualava, thank you so much. Wow, Lakers and Nuggets, and what game? I think I got to choose the Lakers. I don't know why. I think the Nuggets are going to end up, just running out of gas here. In 6, Lakers in 6. I hate picking because I'm always wrong, but you're putting me on the spot, so I'm going to do it. Christopher Rodney, what's up? Should Kawhi have stayed in Toronto? Yes. Should Toronto? Well, listen. No, actually, it's not true. Had he stayed in Toronto, they would have been in the conference finals. So that's one thing. But who knows? I think if they get one more year to gel, they could get all the way to the finals or win. Should Toronto have traded Siakam and maybe Anunoby for Paul George to keep Kawhi in Toronto? Well, I don't know, man. I really like OG and I really like Siakam. So I don't know if that would have done it, but that would have been interesting. Both the Raptors and Clips got to exactly the same place. Second round, Game 7 eliminations. That's true. That's interesting. So people make decisions, but we got to give Kawhi another year. We got to give him another season to see how that shakes out. Wow. I mean, let's go back to the regular chat here and see what we got here because, and I guess Gigolo Puff is not here with us for the first time in a long time to make sure the chat stays clean. But you know what? It looks pretty clean to me. Coach, can I comment on Kawhi's 0 free throw attempts? I did feel like the reffing was off for both teams. And he probably deserved at least 4 free throws maybe on some drives. But Game 7 let him play, yada yada. But I thought that Kawhi also just didn't go as hard as he could to the basket. And that could be his leg. Is AD the best big man? No. I mean, listen, if you're talking about big men in that sense, then it's I would say Jokic is. And I hate. Okay, here we go. And this thing keeps jumping around. I'm going to try and keep up with the, with all the comments here, the comments there. People may be on YouTube, but you know what? Let's see here. How long have we been going for? How long has this been? 45 minutes. All right. Hey, listen. If you guys want to stay with me, I'm here with you. Let's see here. Coach got it. Nuggets going to the finals. I just went the other way. Where do I think Kawhi is going to go next year? Did he only sign a 1-year deal? I think he's going to stay in LA. I think he's happy here. Will Barton be the key if he comes back? But Monte Morris is basically Will Barton, so they might be able to trade him for something. But the Nuggets are kind of stacked, man. And Michael Porter Jr. is going to make it really hard on them because he should start. And then Jeremy Grant is good, and then they have Millsap. Millsap's probably the guy they're going to have to try and squeeze squeeze some minutes out of and cut those down at some point. Let's see here. Do you think the Lakers are going to do a good job with the starters of scoring 10+? Yes. I mean, that's certainly. I like balanced offense for sure. Let's see here, Coach. Let's be on. This is another showing off the Clippers curse. Maybe, but you know what? I thought it's the Sterling thing, right? When he's gone, I don't think the curse got waved off. Coach, let's be honest. Was Doc Rivers out coached, or is it on his players? I think that Doc Rivers did not coach the defense well enough and did not get them organized well enough in their rotations. And on the flip side, Malone was great at actually taking advantage of that. So there's your answer. Yes, I think Malone won that one. Now I see the super chat up here. Wow. Okay. So although I don't see it in my other place, maybe it'll take a second to refresh because I just saw Christopher Rodney. Oh, there it is. I see. Okay, it matches up. So it's late. It's slow here when it tells me. Nonetheless, okay, another super chat. Wow. Gen Z dummy mode. Hey, thank you for being here. Frank Vogel or Michael Malone? Wow. Who do I choose? Who do I think? I don't know, man. Do I have to choose? I don't know. I think I got to get to a game or two to look at what they're doing to figure that out. That's tough because it's a weird. I don't know. My brain. You fried my brain on that one. I can't come up with it. Clapping Rivers, thank you. Wow. I don't know if 200 yen is a lot, but it certainly looks like a lot, so thank you. Can Rondo get a coaching job after retirement? I don't know. I don't know if Rondo's going to be one of those guys that doesn't can't communicate as well as he sees the game kind of thing. But certainly he has that. I've heard and I've read and he's got that savant understanding of the game and the total recall. So yeah, that could be a thing where he'd be a good maybe assistant coach, one of those like associate head coaches. I just don't know if the overall energy is there for him, but maybe. Should Tatum have gone for the layup instead of the dunk? Yes, I think so. I think high off the glass. You got to have visual recognition, and his eyes were down a little too long and didn't see Adebayo coming over until it was too late. Now, listen, I love the audacity. Hey, go for the dunk to end the game, whatever. But it's a problem when you get to the basket like that and you have a chance to score. You don't want to waste that opportunity on a play that doesn't score. But listen, what Bam did was amazing. Let's not forget. He timed it perfectly. He was strong enough to hold the ball out. Wrist was very flexible, by the way, in that, and still strong enough. So, kudos to him. What if the Nuggets come back 3-0 against Lakers? They'd be goated. I would think so. I think that but then again, if that happens again, what is going on with them? There's something wrong. It shouldn't happen that way. It's too hard. Let's see here. Let's scroll through here. Okay, by the way, now all these super chats are showing up in the chat. I swear they didn't do it before, but here I am. Let's see here. Do I think Lakers are doing good when their starters are... Okay, already on... Oh, so now I'm jumping all over... Maybe it's the same question again. Gigolo, you are here. Okay, great. Sorry, I didn't see you moderating. Maybe the moderating is more in the background now, too. Thank you again. Guys, Gigolo Puff is always there. It's amazing. No matter when I do these things, he's there to keep the conversation germane and get whatever craziness is going on. But I don't know. Gigolo, has it been pretty easy for you tonight? Because it seems like these are all great questions. Let's see here. Coach, did you notice Kawhi looked less explosive? Yes, it's his knee, it's his quad. It's always going to be a problem, and who knows if it flared up and then or something. But it's a problem. So let's see here. My opinion on Pat Beverly. I kind of went through that before, but basically, I like him. He's a terrific defender. He's a real agitator. He makes people crazy. And I would separate him from the same category as Marcus Smart. I think Marcus Smart is cheap. He flops. He shouldn't deserve some of the calls that he somehow gets the refs to give him. I don't see Beverly as much as the same like that, so I like Beverly more, and he can shoot threes. And I think he was the key. I think if he played better, they would have won. Will CP3 leave the Thunder? I think that's a done deal. I think the reason why we saw Donovan leave is because they knew that CP3 was gone and he didn't want to deal with a rebuild. Okay, wait, we got more. Again, this is the most super chats ever. I can't believe this. Thank you so much. Raul DM, another one. Do you think the team should run a triangle and two? I love all those kind of defenses. I love them, primarily because you kind of run it for a couple possessions, then you switch back to man, and you go back to the zone, and then all of a sudden the offenses might get a turnover because of when you switch back. So I love all kinds of things. So they should do a 2-2-1 full court press and make them take 6 or 8 seconds off the clock before they get to across the half court. They should definitely do those things too. All those things are awesome. I love it. Tristan Goal, Luka or Tatum? Luka. That's not even a question. I'm sorry, the Tatum fans. I kind of still feel like that what's his name? Jaylen Brown? No, Brown. Not Jaylen. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Why does that sound so weird? I think Brown is the guy who has a higher ceiling, believe it or not. I really do. I know it's a hot take or whatever, but that's what I feel. But if we're talking about Luka versus Tatum, I think it's hands down Luka. Let's see here. Because Doc is most likely going to get fired, where do you think he will go? Is that really now that the Doc thing getting fired just came up in the last day and a half? All right, that's not a thing. I would be shocked if it's a thing. I don't think he probably wouldn't get hired again very quickly. I think. But I don't know why I'd say that. But he's been around for so long with the LA with Clippers and whatever. I don't know. I have a hard time picturing him getting hired by. I mean, what are the jobs that are left right now? It's New Orleans. And they did, Alvin Gentry was just there. I think they would want someone like a whole new breath of fresh air. What else is open? OKC. So I don't know. That would be also really weird if Doc gets fired and goes to OKC after they did that trade, and now he's coaching Shea Gilgeous-Alexander again. Okay. Oh my goodness, and we got more. This is crazy. Troyden reacts. Thank you so much, Jordan. If LeBron and the Lakers lose this series, what will happen to his legacy? Will the fanboys stop saying GOAT? Will it hurt his legacy? I think every time he loses, it hurts his legacy, fair or not fair. But yeah, I mean, I think it kind of ends the GOAT conversation for him as far as Michael versus him. I would think. Typical Rysum, thank you. How much do you think LeBron has in the tank? Well, he is what, 85% of his prime, 80%, which is still amazing. But we've seen some of these games. He scores 15 points. They win. AD goes off. But we've seen more trouble finishing at the rim, which is just sign of it's age. It's going to happen. So we'll see how this is going to work if they keep running guys at him on Denver. If they can tire him out and wear him out a little bit, that might be a thing. So we'll see. I'm anxious to see if he can do it. I think he can. Mindfulattraction.org. Thank you. My goodness. Do you think Doc's overrated? 3 blown 3-1 leads. I mean, you say 3 blown 3-1 leads, but like one of them is 5 years, before. So I don't know if we can kind of combine all of those, right? Well, okay, that was one. What was the other 3-1 lead he blew? Was it Memphis? Somebody remind me. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here. I'll scroll back up. What are the 3? It was this one. I think it was Houston years ago. And then what was the other 3-1 lead that the Clippers blew? Anyone going to tell me? I'm looking. No one's answering. Oh, he blew it with the Magic. Oh, gosh, that's so long ago. I mean, I don't know. I have a hard time conflating those all together. So I don't think the management would look at that and say, "Oh, you've blown 3-1 leads now." That's just too much time in between. Although, are you guys going to tell me that he's the only coach ever to do that? Like, that would be interesting. David Z, hey coach, is Jokic? Thank you, David. Is Jokic a top 5 player in your book? I said this before. I gotta look at that list, but he's probably not. But I would put him in the top 10. I think, right? That seems pretty reasonable. Sneaker Dad 1978. Thank you. If Doc gets fired, Doc could fit for Houston. Okay, and that's even crazier. Would Doc be a good fit in Houston? Maybe. I mean, it's interesting because it's hard to figure out. Houston, they seem to hate each other. So can Doc get in there and change the culture and all that kind of stuff and get everybody in the same vibe? I don't know if he's that guy. I think he had that reputation, but I'm not sure that really was the case. But then again, maybe he can thrive in that situation because we kind of know that CP3 and Blake and all that was a really bad, toxic environment. I think nobody liked each other, DeAndre Jordan, and he got success out of them. So maybe that would be a good fit. But I can't. Right now, as of right now, I can't picture him getting fired, but maybe who knows? Lapox G, thank you. My goodness, thank you for so much, and not even a question. So if you have a question, throw it in there. I'll get it to you. I'll try and get you an answer. Are Jokic and the Nuggets proving the effectiveness of taking threes that result from passes from the post? Yes, thank you, Oliver Layton. That's probably the best comment we've had so far. Wonder what does an A mean in front of the number for the thing? A. Where does A from? A from A. What country is A? Anyway, tell me in the comments and I'll tell you. Yes, we've known that like the best threes are the ones on a drive and kick out, and then I think even better, at least I haven't checked recently, but it used to be from the post and then kick out, which is why the post should never die. You need to be able to get the ball down there and then kick it out for all those good threes. So, and then by the way, that opens it up, and then if you get a good post player, then they can start scoring because they'll have more room. So, they're definitely improving that. Now, that said, I got to get a handle on how many they're getting from the post. It seems like, Jokic is making those skip passes a couple times a game, so that's good. And then, by the way, that's a cascade of events. Once he does a few of those, then that really invites a double team, and then now all of a sudden he's getting the cutters, he's getting the handoffs out of the post, and he's getting drives. So that does open up everything else, even though you might not see exactly more kickouts from the post. But absolutely, it's the biggest issue, the biggest way to get those great threes. Gen Z Dummy Mode, thank you. My gosh. A little off topic. Of all the coaches out there, including Doc, if you like, who goes to Philly? D'Antoni. Remember, these coaches don't necessarily leave a job, without having something in mind. That's why Donovan, New Orleans, I'm thinking that's what happens because remember David Griffin and the New Orleans connection? I'm thinking that D'Antoni was an assistant coach for Brett Brown. I don't even remember that. That was when we thought maybe Brett Brown's going to get fired. They're going to put D'Antoni in. So maybe he just, gets that job like he wants. I'm not sure that's the best job, by the way. I don't know if the Jokic Embiid thing is, I don't know if the Simmons Embiid pairing is going to get them any farther than they've already been. But I would say that's where D'Antoni would go, and it might be already in the works. Moses Merede, thank you so much for being a super chatter. I really appreciate it. This is amazing. I never had this many. Let's see here. Should Tatum have used a 2-foot layup to finish the score on a BAM or a quick goofy foot layup? If he could have done a quicker jump, he would have been able to dunk it too quickly, but he kind of pulled it back and hung in the air a little too long. That was also part of it. It's hard because, are there fundamentals of dunking? There probably are, and it's not always talked about to figure that out. I would have probably gone with a nice little, off the glass floater, finger roll. Would Marc Gasol to the Clippers make a difference? I don't know. I kind of think that they want to go small. I think the Marc Gasols of the league are going to get phased out, and they're going to try and find the Bam Adebayos. That's the people they're looking for. So who else is like that? I don't know. Who do I think is the best coach right now? I mean, I would have said Nick Nurse. He really did squeeze a lot out of what was going on with his team. But, he's obviously great. So is Stevens. So is Vogel. So is Malone. I know I'm forgetting, Carlisle is still up there. They're all sort of on the same order. And I'm probably forgetting at least a couple more. It's tough. Coaching is getting really good in the league these days. Thank you, Lucas, or gracias. Or should I say gracias? I don't know. I forgot how they say it in Argentina these days. I lived in Argentina for 6 weeks. Did you know that, in Buenos Aires? And I got really good at speaking Argentinian Spanish. And I got back to LA and people thought I was crazy. Let's see here. Noel Darksmith. Coach, do you believe the prediction from Coach Rivers regarding the comment of Phil that the Clippers know how to lose the game? Let's see. Do I believe the prediction from Coach Rivers regarding the comment of Phil, the Clippers know how to lose the game? You know what? I don't know what that is, what that comment is. I think I missed it. Phil being like Phil Jackson? Phil. Okay. Marcus Powell, thank you. My goodness gracious, way too generous. Can Jokic be a top 10 if he is pulled late in some games due to poor defense? Jokic, when has he been pulled from poor defense? Was there a minute when they were kind of subbing offense and defense in one of those games? But I don't think it happens that much, and that really shouldn't hold you back anymore. He's too good on the offensive end that anything he might be bad on defensively, it's a net positive regardless. And every once in a while, he pulls off a really good defensive play, just enough. So, the traditionalists might say, oh, he's terrible, he doesn't contest shots well enough, he doesn't this and that. But, he got 22 rebounds. He made some good plays. He'll get a block when you're not expecting it. And then plus everything on the offensive end, it's not an issue. Mindfulattraction.org. Thank you again. Joker reminds me of Bird. Great passer as big man. He can kind of shoot and plays off post. I mean, he does remind you of Bird in the sense of the vision and what the audacity of willing to try crazy passes. But, other than that, Bird was they were different. But certainly there's a vision there that I can see. They're in the same family. Stevens or Spoelstra? Oh my God, I didn't mention Spoelstra. Spoelstra could be the best coach in the league. What he's doing with this Miami team is very impressive. Very impressive. Really a lot of just good coaching. Really, 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 really. Let's see here. Let's scroll through here. Okay. Do you think that Luka could have won against the Clips if Chris was playing? Yeah, without question, they could have won. And if they had their full roster of Brunson and Powell, I almost would have said they would have won. So keep your eye on the Mavericks. Now, Kristaps has got some problems with the way his functional movement in his knees. So I'm very concerned that he will always have these issues. And it would take a monumental amount of work to retrain. It's doable, but it would take a huge amount of work with the right person who's smart enough to understand that. I'm sure they're around, but he's got to readjust the way he functions, his movement, just in general. Too much knees, valgus, they collapse on every jump and every jump shot, and it's going to be too much. It'll just continue to be a problem for his knees. Let's see. Oh wow, David Z, thank you. A letter grade for refs in the series. I don't think it was. You know what? I'm probably forgetting now. There were probably some. What was Ronnie and I? We did a show. Was it on this series? No, it was on the other game. It was on the other series. I would say the refs were I give them like a B. I think it was fine. Luckily, they didn't quite get into too much of an issue. Although I'm already forgetting one of these games. There's too many games, man. I'm so glad we only have one game a night going forward now. Let's see here. Any other one? Okay, Coach has been wondering, what team are you a fan of? Well, I'm a fan of the Bulls from 1978 to 1998. And then other than that, I just like, teams. I like teams people that play like teams. Those are my favorite teams. But, I don't really have a favorite. But growing up in Chicago, we had tickets to the game, season tickets for all the Jordan years. So that's when I was a fan. And, man, that was crazy. Soldier 846, thank you. Who is the best player in the NBA right now? Top 3. So, is it, let's see here. Here's what I said in other podcasts recently. I think Luka can go down as the greatest of all time. I think he can ultimately average 30, 10, and 10 for 12 years in a row. And how is that not the greatest, right? That no one will have ever done that. But as of right now, LeBron is up there. Gosh, I'm going to weasel my way out of this, aren't I? Kawhi is up there. Who else is up there? Because I guess we can't count KD or Curry right now. I'm missing somebody else besides Kawhi and LeBron. Who am I missing? Somebody tell me. Not Lillard. Who would it be? Anyway, Giannis. Oh, no, Giannis. I can't put Giannis in my top 3. I'm sorry. Skill-wise, I can't do it. So, yeah, it's got to be like LeBron or Kawhi. But that's going to rapidly change. I think by middle of next year, we're going to have a whole new guard. RBI 241, thank you so much. Do you think that Murray is going to have an easier matchup against the Lakers? Yeah, listen, having gone up against Patrick Beverley, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George exclusively in the series, without question, he'll have a lot easier defenders to go against. And then, yes, as a result, most likely he'll have a great series. Raul DM, thank you. Again, should the NBA add its 3-second rule to the corner three-point line? Oh, wow. Now that's out of the box. I like where you're going with that. To improve player movement and more creative offensive schemes. I don't know if the refs can handle that. That might be too hard. You know what I mean? You might have to need a 4th ref or something. But that's really, really provocative, interesting. Did you come up with that, or is that your idea? Because, wow, I've never heard that, and that's really fascinating to me. Andrew Zhao, Rockets win finals and they run back last year's team. With CP3? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe. Interesting. Well, listen, I think we're going to have to wrap this up pretty soon because, well, you know what? It's late on the East Coast. We've been at this for over an hour. I need my energy because I got to do a breakdown of, I think, Game 7 tomorrow and then maybe even get, the Game 1 from tonight on Thursday morning for you. But, I'll grab a couple more questions and then we'll wrap it up. So, I guess just FYI, for whatever reason, these orange ones that are really catch my eye a lot faster. I'm not sure what you do to do that, but they're catching my eye. Let's see here. Do you think Giannis is better center than power forward? Listen, I had thought that Giannis was great as a point guard, but because he can't shoot and you go into a playoff series, he's not going to be able to do what he does in the regular season. So he doesn't have post moves, so he's not, so the traditional center doesn't really work for him. So I don't know. I don't know what else to make of that as far as what you'd say. But he needs to just get better. He needs to improve his skill if they want to get better in the playoffs. Let's see here. Do you think any coaches actually want to go to Houston after D'Antoni opened up about conflicts? When did D'Antoni open up about conflicts? I missed that article. So no, that would certainly scare some coaches away. But again, remember, there's only 30 of these jobs out there, and guys, they're very coveted, and guys will be willing to make that work as much as they can. Do I see any parallels between these clips and the 2011 Heat? Yeah, I think so. I think this is the same idea I mentioned earlier, where they're gelling. They gotta kind of get it all together, figure out the roles a little bit better, and they probably got to play Kawhi a little bit more than the load management thing because he needs to get reps. Uriel Alvarez, thank you so much. Last question. I don't know if it's been said out of the 2 series left, which will be more entertaining? Oh, that's really interesting. Celtics or Heat? Celtics, Heat? I don't know, man. That's really, really tough. Listen, the Game 1 was amazing. That was entertaining. But we're going to get a lot of interesting intrigue in the Western Conference as well. So I don't know if I can choose, man. That's really, really tough. But maybe Celtics Heat. Maybe that'll be more entertaining. Jay-Z Nicholas, thank you so much. How high of a ceiling do you think Tyler Hero has? Now, that's the question. I really like Tyler Hero. Really like his game. Now, he looked a little bit intimidated tonight in the beginning, but then he made a couple plays, kind of got used to it, got in the swing of things, and hit some key shots, threw some dimes. Love him. Limitless. He could be just a fantastic guard. He's not intimidated. The dude is 19 years old, almost out of high school. To be able to do that at this level, I got to go find out who trained him, because that's next level stuff. He's a special kid, and I love the shooting they have around Butler and Adebayo. They're a tough out, and they play great. Spoelstra's a great coach. So yes, that's all of that. All right, a couple more questions. What do you say? How far has Kawhi's stock fallen now? His Toronto championship run was filled with flukes like the Golden State Warriors injuries and the lucky Sixers shot. Yeah, and he had a bad playoff. I don't know. It's really sad, just because I think he's just running on one leg, and that's what he's supposed to do about that. But hopefully they can get him some better treatment, and he can play and get through it better and be better. But keep your eye on that, because we got to give him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, okay, so he had a clunky playoff series. Let's see what happens next year. Let's see here. Coach Nick, big fan. Whose fault is it they lost, in your opinion? Oh, my goodness. Well, I think that the fault for the Clippers would lie in their defense, and it wasn't coached well enough. They weren't on the same page well enough. So that's on the coaching staff, unfortunately. And they need to be able to. That needs to be improved if you want to win at that level. It's you can get away with stuff with athletic ability and talent up to a certain point, but then at some point you're going to run into that team that's going to exploit it, and you have to be able to adjust. Let's see here. So I think I just answered Arav's question there. Watch me fight. Thanks, Coach. I've been trying for years. Okay, good. Trying what for years? Thoughts on Wilt? You know what Wilt is? Wilt is Giannis. That's what Wilt would be now, is Giannis. So, Zane, thank you so much. How does Giannis score so much in the season but not against Heat in the playoffs? Is it because of Bam? Well, he gets a lot of transition stuff, and that doesn't happen as much in the playoffs. When you game plan for him, and now you can really make sure you got three guys walling him off all the time, well, what do you have left, right? Like that's in the regular season when teams are just sort of, don't have as much time to prepare. And remember, I might have to separate his numbers out. I like to see his numbers against the good teams versus the bad teams, because I'm sensing that he probably has wondrous stats against the bottom 18 defenses in the league. But then against the top 12 defenses, it might not be so good. I need to look at that, because that would be interesting. Actually, I guess it would be what? 17, bottom 17 and top 12, because the Bucks are the 30th team. So that would be an explosive video, wouldn't you say? If I went through and I realized, look at that, he's just feasting on the bad teams and that's it. And then, because that also is good playoff prediction. If that's the case, that usually would mean that the playoffs he wouldn't perform as well. Zane A. Oh, that's the question. So anyway, thank you guys so much. Listen, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much. Family's I need to get back to them, maybe make some late dinner for them or something. But anyway, I cannot thank you enough. The super chats, amazing. Thank you for watching. Listen, the last video I did on the Clippers, Game 6, I didn't think was even that great. Honestly, I thought, whatever, I was rushing. And it ends up being like the most watched we've had, all season long. Amazing stuff. Thank you guys for being part of it. And, stay tuned. Keep your eyes out on the community tab when I'm going to let you know when I'm doing my live shows. But I really do intend to be... I really do intend to do these after every conference finals game. So nothing tomorrow night, but then the next night. So stay tuned there. And again, thank you so much for joining us. And don't forget, sports fans, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in?